Hey, this is 2 Minutes with Tom on Twitter and civil. Hey, so education, it's totally been in the news, right? Loudoun County in Virginia, people screaming about CRT, the kind of flubbing of how you do social distancing and basic kind of pandemic kind of things in schools. Among many schools not working very well, among some schools working quite well. But at the end of the day, we look at the whole mess and it's kind of like, you know, is this the way public education is supposed to be? Should we have to put up with such a mess? And it's crazy. You have the unions on one end that are, in the airlines saying, well, you don't have to get the vaccine. There shouldn't be a mandate, and we're going to strike on it. On the other end, in education, everybody's got to be vaccinated, or we're not going back to school, right? It makes your head explode, right? About 25 years ago, a guy named Alfred Shanker, the head of American Federation of Teachers, said, "What are you going to?" People asked, "Well, what are you going to do to improve education for kids?" And he goes, "Well, when kids start paying union dues, I'll start looking at their needs." And that's kind of where we are. We've got the federal government with the top-down initiative spending $1 trillion over the last 60 years that has negative impact on our schools. We're actually getting worse, right? The unions kind of, I don't know what the hell they're doing some days, but it's like they're not focused on the kids. They talk all about the kids, but they're not. And then you've got this culture, especially in cities where, it's almost with the parents thinking, well, what's the point? We'll just send them to school. We know they're not going to get an education because there are 8,000 failing schools, mostly in the cities. There are another 65,000 are underperforming. There's only 130,000 schools, right? What's the net of that? 25% of the kids get a 21st century education. That is, they are going to be qualified out of high school to be smart enough to get into 21st century jobs. They may want to go to college or trade school or whatever, but even to get into those, you have to be proficient in key subjects, right? So what are we doing? Nothing, right? What do parents need to do? So here's all kinds of things out there. It's like people are just tired. I had one group out of DC saying, just leave the schools, just go somewhere else. Educate your kids at home or whatever. Not everybody can do that, right? We have an initiative in California that says, forget the state owning it, the funding, give the money to the parents and let them figure out where they want to send their kids to school. Not a bad idea. It's a little like the Civil's education enterprise zones. It's like, let's take away the state responsibility and give it to the parent. Let them own the right and then solicit bids from high-quality vendors of education to get an education. There's other things. You could do an amendment to the Constitution that says parents are absolutely guaranteed a great education. It's their right, That would be great because we're not doing well with the state owning the right. Finally, maybe the parents, maybe they should unionize, right? Let's get millions and millions of parents that are really, really focused. They're focused on their children, right? They don't care about which school. They just want a great school. So there's a bunch of things we can do, but this public education is, we've reached a disaster point, and we've got to rethink it, right? Anyway, I'm Tom Llewellyn. This is Civil, and Civil says time for new ideas, folks. Thanks.